Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 35 times 6. And what we do in number talks is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil, to try to solve this expression. And then we keep track of the strategy we used. So let's go ahead and do that. In just a moment, you're going to pause the video. You're going to work this problem out in your head. And then you're going to think of the strategy you used, unpause it, and we'll see if I can name your strategy. So first, let's look at the distributive property. What we're going to do is we're going to take our 35 times 6. And you see we took our 6 and we broke it up into two 3's. So let's change that 6 into, it's really a 3 plus 3. We're going to take that 6, we're going to cut it in half into two smaller addends. And what this distributive property does is it lets us multiply two smaller multiplication problems to get partial products. So really it's 35 times 3. So let's see, 35 times 2 is 70. So add another 35, we're going to get 105. And then we get another 35 times 3. And that's going to get us another 105. And that's pretty easy to mentally add. Hopefully you got this answer of 210. Now we can also use the distributive property a different way. Instead of taking apart that 6, let's take apart this 35. We're going to take it apart using place value. So think of it as 30 plus 5, 10s and 1s. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to distribute the 6 out to both the 5 and the 30 to get some partial products. So we're going to get 30 times 6. So that's pretty easy. That's 180. Because we know 3 times 6 is 18, and then add the 0. And then we are going to get this 5 that's left over here on the right. We're going to get that times 6. That's going to be an extra 30. So 180 and 30, once again, 210. Now, another strategy we can use is called doubling and halving. What this means is we can take one of our addends, or one of our factors, excuse me, and we're going to double it. So in this case, it's going to be our 35. You notice I took my 35 right here, and I doubled it. I wanted an extra one right here. So we're going to double that, and that's going to get us up to 70. Now, in order to keep a balanced expression, we got to take the other factor, 6. We got to cut it in half. So that's 3. So instead of the 6, we're only going to take 3. We're going to get rid of this other 3 right here. And so if we multiply one factor by 2, divide the other factor by 2, double in half, it's still a balanced expression. Because look at this. 7 times 3, that's 21. Add the 0, 210. We can also use the associative property here. So the associative property lets us take our 35 times 6, and what we're going to do is we're going to break our 35 down into 7 times 5. And so now that we have 3 factors, we can use this associative property. It's also called the grouping property, and it lets us just change the parentheses and group these numbers differently. So instead of 7 times 5 being grouped together, I want to shift the parentheses over to 5 times 6. You notice I kept all of my factors the same, and you're going to find that my answer, my product, is also going to stay the same. So I've got 5 groups of 6. So here's my 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my 5 groups of 6 right there. Then I've got 7 groups of 5 groups of 6. So each of these 5 groups of 6, that's going to get me 30. So 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210. So you can use that if you skip count by 30s to get up to your 210. And then finally, we can use another type of associative property here. We could do our 35 times 6, and we are going to break apart our 35, and we're just going to break it apart slightly different. We're going to say 5 times 7 rather than 7 times 5. We're still going to do that same thing, but now what I want to do is I just want to look at groups of 42, because this is what I have here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 groups of 6, and that's going to make me 42. 42 is going to be pretty easy to skip count if I want to. And you see I'm going to get all my groups of 42. When I get all of my groups of 42, you notice I'm going to get 42. I'm going to get 84. I'm going to get 126. I'm going to get 168. And then there we go. I've got my 210. So those are just a few of the different ways that you can use mental math to solve 35 times 6. If you found another way, that's fantastic. Go ahead and drop that comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of the slide deck for your own use, you can find it on my website at 5minutemath.net.